bah, crying in the middle of the road, bah, bah. It's a well-lit place, the whole damn place is overlit. Let's see if your man wants to find you or not. You think barriers means they're all physical. Before you understand, the barriers are not really physical. Whether you build your own house or you live in your parents' house or you live in a slave master's house, the house and walls are not the barrier. It is all within us. Before you realize that, or how soon you realize that, will lead to either transformation or frustration.
And a lot of the viewers are living in India, so if you're from India, say hello, guys. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Alexis for anybody who doesn't know. Welcome if you're new, or welcome back if you have been here before. I am the author of A Journey into Truth, Unveiling Life's Secrets for Truth Seekers. This book talks all about the last 6 years of my life, like going into the jungle, doing ayahuasca, meeting with traditional shamans, going into tribes, meeting monks, Buddhists, all kinds of things. And it also talks about some of the life lessons and philosophies I have learned along my way, along my journey. And if you want to learn more about that book, you can visit my website, www.vibrate2create.com, or you can find me on Instagram at Vibrate2Create. Here on Vibrate to Create, I talk about all things spiritual and metaphysical. I also talk about my own personal life experiences, the awarenesses I've come to because of those experiences. I make reaction videos to things like spiritual teachers, spiritual teachings, inspirational and motivational videos, and sometimes I also make entrepreneurial videos letting you know how to self-publish your own books. So if you're interested in that kind of content, then please do click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified of when I post new videos so you never miss a video. Today, I'm going to be reacting to a teacher I have already reacted to, and that is Sadhguru. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Let's look it up because I did it last time and I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
See, for me, when people refer to me as a Sadhguru, what they are saying is
Sadhguru.
that I'm an uneducated guru. Because Sadhguru is not a title, it's a description. Like if you want to go to your doctor, if you have a dental problem, you go to a dentist. If you have some problem with your bone, you go to the orthopedic, you don't go to the wrong person. So, when you say a Sadhguru, it's a description that he does not know any scriptures, he does not know any religion, he does not know any dogma or ritual. There's only one thing he knows. He knows this piece of life absolutely from its origin to its ultimate. Because I know this piece of life and that's the only thing I know, by inference I seem to know everything else around me because for every human being, you know only what you experience, rest you don't know, it's just imagination. What else do we know, tell me? What you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch, this is the only way you know life. So if you know this piece of life in its absolute nature, by inference you know almost everything that's worth knowing.
I'm really happy I came across that video. That was really like, I didn't plan that, I didn't know that was gonna happen. I was just trying to find his name, but that was beautiful. I did not know that's what that name meant, and I feel like I resonate with that so much because if you know anything about my book, you know like I've gone on a journey for like 6 years, and it was all about stray away from dogma. If somebody tells you this is the truth, does not mean that is the truth. It was a spiritual seeking, it was a looking for truth, it was a trying to find my truth by listening to every single dogma, every single truth, and then deciding, okay, that is not the truth. And I found that that was one of the ways that it really helped me to find my own footing in life, my own understanding of people, of the nature of reality, of identifying with beliefs and identifying with certain things, and the nature of how wars start when you begin to identify too heavily with your own beliefs and to not be open to somebody else's views. And so I think that's so beautiful that he was saying how Sadhguru means not connected with a dogma or a religion, but just an open-mindedness and a knowingness that comes from within. And I think that's beautiful. I don't know too much about Sadhguru, but I loved that. I loved learning about his name. Okay, I like this one. So this says, "Being lost is a great privilege" by Sadhguru. It's got a labyrinth in the picture, just like my book. And it says, "Feeling lost, watch this."
By work, it is all within us.
Okay, Sadhguru, I'm going to ask you to move to this poem called Human on page 112.
Oh, I like that number.
Mm-hmm.
112. Human. Human. Even when at home, I longed for home, searing pain of longing for home, strangely got cured in being homeless. When the walls of home dissolved, a pristine home, unwalled and unfettered, devoid of love, affection or companions blossomed, shall I call it my being?
But this is a poem about home, and it is also a poem about… It's a poem about a kind of homesickness, and then it's a poem about a kind of homelessness, and then it's a poem about homecoming. And I wanted you to tell us more about that journey, because I think in some way many of us have shared that journey, but not on the level of… not in the profundity that you're talking about it here, but I think many of us have had glimpses of that journey. Is this the blueprint for almost every seeker?
Yeah, I would say there's literally no human being who is not confronted with a thought and an emotion like that, but they manage to brush it aside. It doesn't bother them enough. The pain of not knowing doesn't tear them, that's the whole problem. They come to terms with ignorance, they make a deal with ignorance. They will build relationships where everybody will confirm this is the best way to live. Of comfort, companionship, love, affection. These are all things you're seeking. I know a whole lot of people have raised human emotions to heavens. If you say love, they say divine love. If you say joy, they say divine joy. If you say bliss, they say divine bliss. You don't need any God's help to be joyful, loving, peaceful. As a human being, you're endowed with these qualities. So all those who deprived themselves of that, they either seek God or they settle for a dog. Yeah, usually. Because they want a unconditional love, this is a demand.
To embark on a journey without this sense of homesickness.
See, let one human being honestly say, when you are with your most loving parents, however doting and wonderful they were to you, that you never felt this is not where you want to be. That is a dishonest human being. Because love gets tedious, somebody's fondness gets very tedious, comfort gets tedious. Because the nature of life is, it wants to constantly expand. If there is no room for expansion, it doesn't matter you are kept in a whatever, I won't use because everybody uses the word golden palace. I think golden palace is totally unaesthetic in my my visual perception, I hate golden palace, but whatever is the most wonderful palace, or as you say Shangri-La or whatever, it'll get tedious. All the heaven-bound people.
Okay, I want to stop here for just a second and talk about a story from my book where I talk about a quote by Alan Watts where he says, so imagine that you, I'm saying this off the top of my head, but imagine that you, for every night when you were dreaming, you were given the opportunity to control your dreams. So you could have every single thing you ever wanted, like all your fantasies, all your homes, all of your money or partnerships, whatever you were looking for. And let's say you did that for however many nights. Eventually you would get so tired of always having every single thing that you could ever want, and you would always know what's coming, and so you would start to gamble with it a little bit, and you'd be like, oh, maybe let's not know tonight about what's gonna come in this dream. Like, we'll just have a little surprise here. And you would like that very much, and then eventually you would end up in the very same reality that you're currently living in, and you would realize, oh, I had the perfect reality already, and it was right under my nose. I didn't even notice, didn't even know I had it all already. And many times we can get caught up in, oh, I'll be happy when I have that thing. I'm gonna be so happy when I get all that money and I can finally have enough for this or that. And then once you finally have it, you're like, okay, well, maybe how about something different? How about something a little bit more? And it's this constant need for expansion, this constant forward motion. That's a chapter in my book, The Eternal Process of Evolvement. It is eternal because you are eternal as a soul, as a human being, as a part of nature. As you see the natural cycle of life, these flowers have to keep this progression forward until this eventual blooming. And then the cycle of life, the cycle of continuation, is that this flower must pass away or move on, so that the eventual evolvement can still keep coming, so that it can decompose, become fertilizer for the ground, and then that will cause more to grow or more things to be able to feed off of it. So it's this natural process of still more, still more, still more. New children coming in, new evolvement, new changes, new avenues, new ways of being, new ways of perceiving, understanding. It is the natural cycle of life to never be finished. And that is how to move with the motions that we were put on this earth with already, as a part of our existence, as a part of who we are. We are like those flowers that will consistently, continually, always keep growing and becoming more. Okay, let's keep going with Sadhguru here. Sadhguru, I love that name. Sadhguru. Oh, I want to say also, I noticed from the last Sadhguru video I did, a lot of the viewers are living in India. So if you're from India, say hello, guys. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to think I'm talking to people all across the world. And to know my message is somehow getting to somebody very far from where I am. I think that is such a cool thing. Hello to India. Say hi to India for me, by the way. Alright, let's go back and keep watching.
They don't know how bored they will be within 3 days in that place of goodness.
Wouldn't like your dreams
So
very
I'm
much.
saying it doesn't matter. It's not because there's something wrong with your parents. They may be most wonderful people, but the very nature of a human being is such. Only if you're a pet animal, if you have reduced yourself to that, you're just happy with the meals that you're getting, and somebody is fondling you once in a way and you're happy with that. For that you must be a pet animal, you should not be born as a human being. Once you're born as a human being, it is natural wanting to break barriers. So when you're young as a child or a teenager, you think barriers means they're all physical. Before you understand, the barriers are not really physical. Whether you build your own house or you live in your parents' house or you live in a slave master's house, the house and walls are not the barrier. It is all within us. Before you realize that, or how soon you realize that, will lead to either transformation or frustration.
And this homelessness, this whole phase of vagabondage, of being a nomad. You have poems about being a nomad. Is that also an intrinsic part of every seeker's journey?
See, do not separate seekers and non-seekers. Everybody is a seeker. Some quickly compromise, some endure. There is nobody who is not a seeker. Some seek and forage within their own limitations, some want to seek, some seek in a safe manner, some seek dangerously. But there is nobody who is not a seeker, everybody is a seeker.
And therefore, this period of homelessness or vagabondage is universal?
It may not be a period for everybody, it may be just momentary for a whole lot of people, because people will feel terrified when they feel, if they just look at it and see actually, just the nature of life. Forget about your home. Suppose you left somewhere, I've seen people, when we were children, when we were growing up, Mysore has a Dasara exhibition which goes on for 1.5 months. So this is a place where all the youth will go and hang out and, there are things to eat and a lot of entertainment, shows going on, music going on, various kind of circus elements and all things going on. In this in this exhibition grounds, which is hardly maybe 10-15 acres, maybe 20 acres of land, and full of lights everywhere and shops and stuff's going on. Every day, either children or women or some men, they get lost from their families in that crowd. Maybe 50,000 to 100,000 people will be milling around and people get lost. All the time, when the music show is happening, one policeman will announce, there is a child here by name Vikram, his father's name is this thing, his mother's name is this thing, he is crying here, come immediately. Hey, God damn it, we came to listen to music. If you brought a child, figure out how to hold on to you. If you don't figure that out, ask him to come and wait at the gate and pick him up there. Nothing is going to happen, all right? These are not times where great amount of kidnappings happening, anything in Mysore. Nobody kidnaps you in Mysore. At least nobody kidnapped me. So, this ridiculous thing, and grown-up women, they're lost from their husband or their family, bah, crying in the middle of the road, bah, bah. It's a well-lit place, the whole damn place is overlit, all right? There were no phones, that was the only thing. All you have to do is go near the gate and wait, or if you're a car or a motorcycle, go and wait there, or just stand there. Let's see if your man wants to find you or not. I'm saying they will be… Even men, I have seen grown-up men crying loudly because their wife or their child had gone somewhere. Unbelievable. So this sense of being lost, nothing, you don't have to drop them in the middle of Kalahari or something. In Mysore, Dasara exhibition I know Mysore people will be listening and say, how can Sadhguru speak like this? Does he know the pain of getting lost in Dasara exhibition? I'm saying this is how people are. I've seen people in the jungles when some of my friends came with me, in the forest, not even deep inside, just in the borders of the forest. Somewhere they go here, there and they get lost. They just few meters away somewhere and they can't see us. Bah! They start crying. Grown-up boys. I've been lost in the forest for days and weeks. Don't know where the hell I'm going. I know if I keep walking some road, something will come, because I know how wide Western Ghats are. At the most 150, 200 kilometers if I walk, I will come to the coast or to some city. But in the meantime, you should see how people behave, because for them, nothing big needs to happen. Smallest things, if they lose their wallet, psst. They lose their phone, gone. Everything is gone. All right? So they don't have to lose their life. This is why I said, when a time comes when you're going to lose your body and everything that you know as life, either terror will come when they first realize that, but slowly as life starts ebbing, it gives you a certain anesthetic. This is the nature of life. Because life doesn't just pop out like this, it is leaving slowly. As it starts leaving slowly, you will see there is a kind of an anesthetic, there's a kind of comfort that they come to. You will see they were struggling in pain, this, that was happening. But as death is slowly coming, approaching, last few days you see they become peaceful, nice, some of them even joyful. A few are bewildered, what's happening? Because they never thought this will happen to them. So, being lost is not about a certain situation, it is the nature of life. It is the nature of life. You have been given the intelligence to find out what is the nature of life. If you did not have the intelligence, if you were like any other creature, none of them have those problems. They're never lost, they're all fine. Physically, they may be lost in the terrain sometimes, but otherwise they're just fine. They never feel lost. This is the greatest privilege that human being has. You can be lost. Just believe me, if you cannot be lost, obviously you're chained, isn't it?
You're chained?
Of course. See, these days I've seen, especially in United States, people are taking their children with a… what do you call this?
On a leash?
A leash, like a dog leash. One who is on the leash or a chain cannot be lost, isn't it? You need to understand, being lost is a great privilege because you are not on a chain.
Wow. Beautiful. So, as he was talking, I wanted to kind of allow him to speak before I kind of interjected. What came up for me was another metaphor from my book. I talk about my book all the time, but it's just these ideas come up and it's like, oh, talk about this one. And so at the end of my book, I have this specific little metaphor that I learned from a Bert Hellinger book, and the book was called Love's Hidden Symmetry, and I came across it when I was in my family constellations trainings. And in this quote, Bert Hellinger is talking about, well, I'll tell you the metaphor first. I don't have a book with me, but I would read it to you if I had it, but I'll say it off the top of my head. So there's this man, and from the moment that he was born, he was hearing all these stories about gods and prophets and Jesus and all these kinds of ideas of religion and what it means to be close to God. And so he's like enchanted by these stories as he's growing up. And so he eventually, as he's an adult, he has his own garden and he's taking care of this garden. And one day he decides to go out on a journey. And he's on a journey to find God. Eventually he ends up in the middle of the desert, out in the middle of nowhere. There are no paths left to take. He just ends up in the middle of nowhere, just step after step, keeps walking, and he keeps looking and searching, like, when am I going to find God? Finally, he sees this body of water out in the middle of the desert, and he walks up to it, and as he approaches, he meets these other people who have also gone on their own journeys, and they each end up at this water and they're talking, and one of them says, oh, I've become Jesus, and another says, I've become the Buddha, and someone says, oh, I've become, this spiritual person or this prophet. And so they spend the night here at this watering place, and they look up and they're watching the sky, and they're like, this man is thinking to himself, this must be what it was like when, Jesus became a prophet, or when he came to know God. And the next morning they wake up, they all go back on their own separate ways, and this man takes a journey back home to his garden, and he takes care of his garden for the rest of his life and says to himself, okay, now I live by the laws of the land. And this metaphor can be interpreted in many ways. I would urge you to think about it on your own, of what you believe it means or what the author was trying to say. But I added this quote because I was talking about my own journey into spiritual discovery and trying to find out what is God and what happens in the afterlife and along my journey, I met so many beautiful people. I met psychics and mediums, and I met shamans and tribes across the world in Peru. I met, people who were philosophical. I met artists. I met all these different people, and we talked about our awarenesses of what is God and what has your journey been like to get here. And now it's more like, okay, I've gone on the journey. I've learned all these things. I've been seeking and searching, and now I feel like, all right, there is no truth where I will ever finally get there and say, it's the truth. I finally got here. I got it. Because along my journey, I learned about how everybody's perception is what it is because of their experiences, because of what teachings they've come across, because of what their upbringing was like, what their traumas are like, how they process traumas, how they, what are their interests? Are they interested in artistry and they went on that path? Or they're interested in music and so they went and learned about all those things. And so it became, along the path, it became more like, okay, I'm not seeking to try and uncover something that I know I'll never uncover, but I'm so grateful I took that journey. I'm so grateful I went on to the middle of the desert and, went on a journey to meet these people in the middle of nowhere. And now come back home and say, I took the journey. I was seeking, I found my own personal truth within all of the truths that I found along that journey, and now I'm here at my garden, taking care of my garden, experiencing the mundane, finding the beauty in the small moments of hearing a bird chirping out the window and enjoying life, just enjoying this moment and enjoying all the knowledge and the teachings I've come across, and knowing I still don't know even a small, I only know a tiny little piece, a little fraction, a little grain of sand in a whole sea of ideas and opinions and thoughts and perspectives. And I will never, ever, ever be completely enlightened or find, the absolute one truth where you'll finally finish and say, I found the truth, and now I can fight for this truth and say to anybody else who comes to me and says, no, this is the truth, then I can fight with them and say, no, I found it because I went on this journey and blah, 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 blah. But just finally finding that solace of I don't have to seek. It's already here. In the air that I breathe, and in the clouds moving by, and in that tree growing, and the changes of the seasons, and watching the hills and the sun falling behind the hills, and just that moment, just the life that we came and were born to live, and finding the God in all things, and even the hardships and even the hard things that will lead you back to you. Yes. All right. I think that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed. And like I said, if you're from India, say hi. Say hi from India. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you, Sadhguru, for sharing your teachings and your opinions and experiences based on your own life experiences. I love to learn from new people, and I'm so happy you guys are here learning with me. So thank you for joining in. I'll link my last Sadhguru video up here. If you have any other teachers you'd like for me to react to, someone you think I'd enjoy, someone you personally enjoy, a specific video, you can leave that down in the comments below as well. I hope to hear from you, and thank you so much for joining in, being a part of my journey, and learning from my journey. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys!